Well, let me just say that you're very, very welcome here in Downing Street. As you heard from the cheers on the street outside, you have full backing across the United Kingdom. And we stand with you, with Ukraine, for as long as it may take. And I hope you heard some of that cheering in the street. That is the people of the United Kingdom coming out to demonstrate how much they support you, how much they support Ukraine, and our absolute determination to stand with you, unwavering determination, and to achieve what we both want to achieve, which is a lasting peace for Ukraine based on sovereignty and security for Ukraine. So important for Ukraine, so important for Europe, and so important for the United Kingdom. So I'm much looking forward to our discussions here this afternoon. Thank you very much for making the time to come.
With pleasure. Thank you very much, Kier. Mr. Prime Minister, happy to be here. And really, I saw a lot of people, and I want to thank you, people of the United Kingdom, such big support from the very beginning of this war. Thank you, your team. And I'm very happy that His Majesty the King accepted my meeting tomorrow, and I'm thankful that you organized such a great summit for tomorrow. And we are very happy in Ukraine that we have such strategic partners. We signed with you historic documents.
100-year agreement.
Yeah, we have only with you such documents with the United Kingdom, so we're happy, and we count on your support, and really, we're really happy that we have such partners and such friends.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
That was British Prime Minister Kier Starmer doing what Trump and J.D. Vance were wholly unwilling to do in their desperation to pander to Vladimir Putin, and that is to treat the Ukrainian President Zelensky with the respect that you reserve not just for an ally, not just for a fellow democracy, but the leader of a country that has been the victim of a vicious attack at the hands of a murderous dictator whose goal is nothing short of expanding the borders of his country and catering to his imperialistic ambitions no matter the cost. Now, you'll notice that the visit with Starmer seemed to be scientifically engineered to serve as a contrast to what happened with Trump and Zelensky in the Oval Office.
Remember this. You're in no position to dictate what we're going to feel. We're going to feel very good.
You will feel influence.
We're going to feel very good and very strong.
You will feel influence.
You're right now not in a very good position. You've allowed yourself to be in a very bad position, and he happens to be right about it.
From the very beginning of the war.
You're not in a good position. You don't have the cards right now. With us, you start having cards. But right now, you don't. Yeah, you're playing cards.
Mr. President.
You're playing cards.
Serious.
You're gambling with the lives of millions of people. You're gambling with World War III. You're gambling with World War III. And what you're doing is very disrespectful to the country, this country. It's back to you. Far more than a lot of people said they should have.
Have you said thank you once?
A lot of times.
No, in this
even
entire
today,
meeting, you said thank
even
you.
Today.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America.
And let's be clear, this blow-up between Trump and Zelensky was by design. It was planned. The situation doesn't just devolve like this unless you are Donald Trump and J.D. Vance with a plan to ensure that it does. And if you listen to Vance, he actually gives the game away when he said this.
You went to Pennsylvania and campaigned for the opposition in October. Offer some words of appreciation for the United States of America.
That's what this is about. Trump and Vance feel slighted because they view Zelensky as an ally to Joe Biden, and they've been seeking revenge against him for the crime of supporting an American president who literally supported his country against an onslaught by Russia. And by the way, what you're seeing right now is a testament to the fact that Zelensky was right to show kindness to Joe Biden, because the alternative is a tool of the Kremlin. If I was Zelensky, I would be horrified at the prospect of Trump winning the election for the very reason that we are seeing right now. Trump's goal is to pander to the Russian dictator because he himself wants to be part of the autocrat club. That's why he's only got nice words for people like Putin and Xi and Kim Jong-un and Erdogan. He wants to usher in the same brand of illiberal democracy, or worse, outright autocracy, that those men have brought to their own respective countries. This isn't about some defensive values. It is about the elimination of them. And luckily, as we've seen with Kier Starmer, the rest of the world is filling the leadership void that Trump is leaving. Here's a screenshot from Yashar Ali showing dozens of world leaders and presidents and prime ministers and ambassadors quickly asserting their support for Ukraine, as well as acknowledging objective reality that Russia was the aggressor in this war, something that used to be standard practice in America until the Kremlin talking points came down, and suddenly, this is what the chicken shit Republicans devolved into.
Mr. Feinberg, did Russia invade Ukraine?
Well, going to my behind closed doors statement a second ago, I'll just say this.
They moved tanks and troops and armored personnel carriers across the Ukrainian border. It's a pretty simple question.
Yeah. Well, here's how, if I may, I'd like to
If
say,
you would ask the chairman of this committee if Russia invaded Ukraine, I'm pretty sure, the Republican chairman, I'm pretty sure I would know the answer.
Man, talk about courage. You know, I know the GOP loves to wave around their patriotism and masturbate all over the flag to convince themselves that they're the real Americans out there. But we used to have men and women who did put their lives in the line to defend freedom in the world. We used to have men and women who did sacrifice everything to land on the beaches of Normandy because fascism was on the rise. Compare that with today's GOP. These people can't even acknowledge objective reality that Russia invaded Ukraine. Not a political statement, just a statement of pure fact. The notion that these Republicans know the first thing about patriotism is a joke. All I can say is thank fucking God these people weren't in charge of the US in the 1940s. And by the way, here's one lawmaker who is perfectly willing to call that out.
It is time for us to say, Mr. President, guess what? Russia invaded Ukraine. Can we at least agree on that one? Facts matter. Y'all, this is literally potentially putting us into an international crisis. We may be heading towards the next world war because we have a president that wants to pal around with Putin and wants to do everything to make him feel good, including lying about who invaded who. Mr. Chair, I got a minute left, but I really want to yield to any of my colleagues and ask them if they will say today, very basically, that when it came down to the war in Ukraine, that it was not Ukraine that invaded Russia, it was the other way around. Is there anybody in here that has enough courage to say that Russia invaded Ukraine?
you can have my time.
And this is yet the problem.
So look, I know that I have a lot of international viewers, and I have two things to tell you. The first is that you should know that half of this country feels the same way that you do. Know that you have allies here in the United States who still recognize the basic tenets of humanity, of justice, of freedom, of integrity, and of democracy. But the second thing is more important, and that is that it is up to the rest of the world now to fill the void of leadership being left by Trump. The U.S. abandoning our defense of democracy cannot mean that the world follows suit. And judging from the statements that we've seen thus far from world leaders, it doesn't seem to me that they have any intention of doing so. But I do hope that the rest of the world doubles, triples, quadruples down on protecting Ukraine, because it's not just about Ukraine. It is about preventing the spread of autocracy. It's about stemming the tide of imperialism. It's about protecting human rights, which require democracy if they're going to survive. The U.S.'s absence on the global stage is an opportunity for the rest of the world not to shrink away, but to rise up to the challenge. Insofar as I can speak for anyone, you should know that we're rooting for you. Before you go, first, if you enjoyed this content and you want to see more and support independent media, please subscribe to this channel. The subscribe button will be right here on the screen. But second, the reality is that we're now in a political environment where this administration can lean on any of the social media platforms to suppress certain voices if they don't like critical coverage. That means my longevity here is in the hands of a few tech billionaires who are already making it clear that they're willing to cater to this White House. To that end, signing up for my newsletter is a great way for me to be able to reach you directly if that ever becomes necessary. I'll put the link on the screen as well, so please sign up. It's completely free, but there's also an option to do a paid subscription if you'd like to support my work. I really appreciate it. Thanks so much for watching.